Yo, what's up, folks? Doing Riftstone. Who this? It's somewhere here, and today we are doing a Throne Liberty video, which I haven't done in a really long time when it comes to content for Throne Liberty. So let's go ahead and get back on it. Today we have a Riftstone fight against FireBlossom for Manticus. We already own Manticus. The Guillermin NoStuns currently owns Manticus, and FireBlossom decided to push us after they left the Alliance, and yeah, this is the result of that breaking of the alliance and making their own alliance. And this is all for server health because Pippin is a declining server. PlayStation server is, for lack of a better term, it's on life support at this point when it comes to PvP. We get, all the same updates everybody else does, but we just don't have the player base to facilitate PvP being a constant thing with one alliance being on the server. So we have two alliances made up of the people that are playing the game, and then there are a bunch of little guilds kind of sitting around in their own little space, not really too serious about the game or whatever have you when it comes down to it, or they don't want to, they don't want to drop their ego and merge into another guild and give their own autonomy or their distribution rules. So they stay in their own little guild with their, their 2 or 3 friends and do that thing. And I don't judge them, to be honest. I don't really care when it comes down to it. But that's kind of why the server is in the state that it's in, and there's not enough PvP to go around because, we're constantly, the people that are the opposing alliances are just constantly fighting each other when they're on, and at some points people will have more on than others because people have lives, people have jobs, people have things to do, and so it gets to the point where sometimes you're fighting at full capacity, sometimes you're fighting at half capacity, sometimes you're fighting with just 2 people versus 20, and that's just what it comes down to. It's the thing. It's how the game handles things, and doesn't really facilitate any type of benefit for the server that we're currently on. The one thing people have suggested is that, or people have hoped, is that they bring the Xbox players, they give them the ability to move to Pippin, so it could be a straight console, combined server, and that way we'd have more action between the two consoles. But I'm not sure PlayStation would be down for that, or Amazon would even go for that as well. And so we're kind of just stuck in the situation that we're stuck in right now, being these 2 alliances fighting each other constantly at every event, and just doing the thing when it comes to the game until something better comes out and we have other things to play, to be real. Now, when it comes down to what the future of Throne Liberty is for me, there are a few games coming out this year that I'm looking forward to. We have Polya coming out on May 13th, which is a cozy game. We have Crystal of Atlan coming out on May 28th, which is another MMO, and then we have Crimson Desert coming out at some point. We don't have a date for that yet, so I'm just gonna say some point. But I'm super excited for all those games. Hopefully we have some more games come out. I think we have Honor of Kings coming soon too. The Honor of Kings World game, which is a Chinese game that's supposed to be an MMO style, but I'm not really sure what the classification of that game is anymore. But that's pretty much all of the things when it comes to the games that I'm looking forward to that are coming out. Oh, and there's Cloudheim as well, but Cloudheim is an MMO. It's kind of just an online game you can play with friends. I'm definitely looking forward to Cloudheim as well when it comes to my games I'm going to be playing. Alright, so what's going on here is that they lost the initial push. We own the Boonstone, so we're on the Boonstone. They lost the initial push, so they're regrouping to get their next push going. The long range is stacked up top, and their tanks are in the front with the healers behind the tanks. They're hoping that this is going to get us to push down the stairs into them and try to wipe them, which would be stupid because then their long range will just free cast on us with meteors and every other damn skill in the book. So our shot callers are telling us stay back, just let them come to the stairs, let them push to us, try to stay out of range or line of sight of their tanks so you don't get pulled down into the mess. Now, I'm a gladiator, so my role is to pretty much get in there, but my shot callers are telling me, hey, don't jump in, because if you jump in, you're going to get melted. And of course, I know that my role isn't to jump into a group of tanks off rip, because that would just get me killed by the DPS. So right now I'm sitting back because I know my role. My role is to jump in, hit everyone that's near me with a devastating smash, hit them with a wheel breaker, and then go ham. If that comes up, it does, but it doesn't happen in this situation because once again, we can't push down the stairs. We just get obliterated. They try to chain hook us a few times, and we're in this tricky spot because if they chain hook someone from this spot, they'll just pull them to the top of the stairs and not actually pull them downstairs. And it happens actually once in this fight where they try to chain hook me, and it pulls me to the very top of the stairs, and I'm able to just walk backwards. Now, this fight right here kind of did not work out in their favor because their push was not a unified push. They tried to push us straight through, and we just kind of pulled their tanks and started wiping them out one by one. So every tank that we got pulled up with our chain hooks, we ended up wiping out one by one. So they had to run all the way back until I guess they ended up getting frustrated, and they just decided to go ahead and push all at once. But this fight was a very fun fight. I'm not gonna lie, I had so much fun. It was like 50 versus 50. Well, 50 plus versus 50 plus. We don't have an exact number on their side or our side because we have people online that were in offline mode, and I didn't reach out to them to get their numbers because last time I reached out to them to get their numbers, after they took a loss, they didn't really respond. So, yeah. Now, I got a big piece of advice for people. Don't do what I'm doing right now. Don't run around in your mount mode, because in your mount mode, you lose like 1,000 resistances. All of your resistances go down by 1,000. So you're easily pulled, you're easily stunned, you're easily feared, all that stuff. Like, I don't know why I didn't take off the stupid setting where my resistances are set. And so right here, we have a scorpion that pushed into us and spun on us. I almost got wiped out, but my healer was on top of my HP. They put me back up. And this is their initial push because they sent their scorpion in to try to wipe out a bunch of us in the front so they could push, but it didn't really work out. Our healers were on top of it, and we were able to go ahead and facilitate a counterattack and push back into their back line and wipe their DPS from that were following their tanks, their healers and DPS that were following their tanks. So of course, right there in that situation, I made a little mistake and I hit my fear without hitting my my buff, and that could have ended very badly. It almost did. My healer was on top of my HP once again, though. So thanks for Ceiling's feelings for that one. But yeah, jumping into a crowd like that is the reason for that is you want to hit the back row with all the healers, so the healers are feared and the tanks can be melted in the front row while the healers are incapacitated for like those few seconds that they are. It works out a lot more than it doesn't. And so I wish people would give death from above its flowers, to be honest, but it is what it is, you know. So at this point, like we're just wiping them out, and their pushers are pretty much all dead. Their DPS is coming up in the back, and they're trying to like, I don't know if they're trying to chase kills or what, because like they were just kind of like trickling in, and because they were trickling in, they were getting wiped out, and this led to them having to reset again. Now we're gonna speed up this section because there was no action really going on here. They were waiting for them to regroup and set up, and this is when we get the call that, you know, they're gonna be coming from above and trying to hit us from above. So we use the platform above us as a line of sight mechanism to keep them from like free casting on us, and it works out for the most part. They do come in a few seconds, and they try to hit the line of sight on a few people that are still out there. But people are hugging the corners of the platform and hugging the corners of the wall to make sure they can't get line of sighted and be wiped out. And you see them flying in right there. Some of them flew low for whatever reason and landed down low, which I was kind of perplexed on why they did that, but it is what it is. They made the mistake, and we went ahead and punished them for it and wiped out them as they trickled in. Now, as it comes to this part, this is where I got my first death, and I was like, whoa, what happened? I wasn't sure where everything was going at that point, but the respawn we had was set up, which I didn't realize we had a respawn set up. So I went ahead and hurried and clicked that and popped back into the fight. Now, jumping back in there once again in my mount mode, which I need to turn off, the permanent version of that, we went ahead and got our assist right there, and yeah, the fight just goes on like this. They keep making these pushes, and it honestly they get to touch the stone. They get to touch the stone multiple times, but because we're able to wipe them out every time, they're unable to keep the stone for anything over, I think, a few percentages. They didn't even get to like double digit percentages. The crazy thing about this guild is that this guild always pulls up for a fight. Like everyone that in this guild loves to fight, and they will always pull up for a fight. So the moment we found out that we got challenged at our Riftstone, like the entire guild lit up. Like I can't even explain it. That like people were like somebody really challenged us. Come on, let's go! And everybody was so hyped. So like it was a really fun feeling when that happened. And honestly, I've been on the side of the guilds that like don't ever get challenged. So being challenged like this was like, you know, a crazy thing for us. So there's a part where they make another push, and their push this time is a bit stronger, more unified, but we are able to pick them off very quickly. Our range DPS is smacking them down. So you see a guy in the right hand corner is aiming up and shooting at someone on top of the pillar. That's because one of their members decided to go ahead and pop on the pillar. Well, a few of their members decided to go ahead and hop on the pillar and try to free cast on us, and we weren't really gonna let that sit. So we sent a squad of our members up there, a little white group up there, to go ahead and take care of them, and they did their job and got them out of there, so we could, you know, continue this fight without being, you know, free casted on the entire time, because being free cast on it is kind of that's kind of wild. You just can't do anything. You gotta kind of hug like walls and try to stay out of line of sight while getting these kills. And I'm glad they didn't like hit me hard enough to put me into jeopardy, because I get hit hard by spell blades, and I've been hit by a spell blade that hit me like a freaking 18k meteor at one point. I was like, bro, I need more magic defense because this is not working out. But yeah, so this fight ended up being, as this fight is, like we kept following our shot caller's calls. I tried not to target tanks as much as possible unless the tank was like, you know, on the stone, or if the tank was causing an issue within my group or my front line. But for the most part, I tried to stay off of tanks. Like I said earlier, my role as a gladiator at this point is to disrupt the healers and the tanks that are pushing closer towards the front. That includes hitting, you know, death from above or the jump stun from devastating smash, and then hitting temper strike to make sure you get that extra time of incapacitating those members. Now here we're just waiting for them to regroup again. At this point, they're kind of rushing because they're running out of time. They have like about 5 minutes left, and once we get down to like the last few minutes, it's really no shot, because it takes so long to capture the stone versus you know, actually getting into position. And the walk here is very long. Like the walk here is it's a ridiculous walk. So right here we had some members flying off the top of the platform, and I guess they either desynced or something, but they went too low, and so they started chasing them like they were chasing kills. And it was like they were chasing, their entire guild was chasing like 1 or 2 people trying to get them. And it was kind of ridiculous to watch, because it was like, bro, you're chasing like 1 person for a kill. But here you see them about face and get back in line. So I guess the shot callers, you know, kind of scolded them about trying to chase for 1 kill. So it was kind of funny to watch that happen in itself. But then they went ahead and tried to push. I want to check the other side just because, you know, they could try to pincer attack, which pincer attacks don't really work in this game. They work if you have a good medium of disruption, which sleep bombing doesn't really work as much in this version of the meta right now. Sleep bombing is not as efficient as it used to be, like it was in T1. And so here we have the tank try to go for the stone. I tried to jump fear him, but yeah, he was a bit more tanky. I guess he has more resistances than I have fear chance, so it didn't really work out. But we tried to push him. They called us to get off the tank because his healer was on him specifically. He was pocket healing. He was being pocket healed rather. And so we just kind of left him alone because he was being pocket healed, and went to go ahead and wipe out the rest of their team. And yeah, that push pretty much failed at that point too. And then we were able to go ahead and go back and wipe out the tank and get everyone wiped off of the stone once again, so we can reclaim our spot. And the next push was very quick, and it happened super fast. It didn't really make a big difference, but it happened very fast, and that was kind of the thing that caught us like what the hell, because we lost a few members off that push. We had that guy upstairs free casting once again, and so we sent another group of our members up there to go ahead and, you know, knock them out while we got ready back for this next push. And as you can see, they're kind of trickling in here, which was their mistake again. But to their benefit, they did get off a bunch of kills. They did get a bunch of damage off, especially on me. Like, my HP went down for a minute. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? So we got hit by like a meteor or like something. So I think we got hit by like the meteor and a bell. I probably got hit by a Belmir proc, because that there was nothing there that should have took my HP down as much that quickly. Especially from my note, from knowing who hit me, there was nothing that should have done that. And so this was just a portion of the fight where we had another push happen, and we just had to retaliate as quickly as possible and put ourselves back together. This was a fun fight, honestly. This was just a really fun fight. There's the leader of FireBlossom, Gates. He was going ahead and try to get the stone again. I said before that they didn't get like 10% or double digits, but they did. They did, I guess, apparently. I wasn't really paying attention to the percentages most of the time. So my bad. Good job. With that aside, this was a really fun fight. Like I said, we've had a fight against FireBlossom before, but that was back when I was in Warlords in the beginning of Team 1, or rather, close to the end of Team 1, really. Or rather, the middle of Team 1, to be honest. Yeah, it was about the middle of Team 1. But yeah, we fought Warlords before. We won the fight on a dentist. I have the video up on the channel as well if you guys want to go watch that. But we won the fight on them at that. And this was just another fight against FireBlossom, but with another guild, and I'm glad this guild was able to pull together and be able to pull off another victory, because they were kind of getting full of themselves, because they were able to split the alliance and have a bunch of members on, and so, like, you know, this was kind of a wake up call that, you know, we're still, you know, able to fight no matter how many members you have on. We're gonna try to match your numbers and be able to, you know, get into that fight as well. Now, this is coming down to the last few seconds of the fight. We're just kind of scrapping at this point, because no matter what they do, even if they get their hand on the stone, it won't really matter at this point. I don't think the stone goes into overtime, because it hasn't before, unless they made some type of change, but it hasn't before, and I don't think it will now. And we were kind of just like, you know, still like, you know, let's keep up the fight just in case anything weird happens. And we kept up the fight, we wiped them again, and we're able to pull off the victory. And once again, guys, take off your mounts. Stop running around in mounts in war zones, because it'll get you screwed. I can't say that enough. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. This fight was fun. GG's FireBlossom. Hopefully you guys push us again to, you know, get another fight in there, because server needs it. Until something better comes out to where we can all go play something else for PvP. But the server needs it, because it's kind of stale right now, to be honest. But thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in this video. It's been forever, and peace. I had to speak for 17 minutes in this video. I don't like it here, Grandpa.